But before they do, I want to talk to you about this amazing woman here. This is my inspiration. This is my grandmother. I called her Nanny Josephine, wonderful woman. The reason I talk about her a lot, and I need to talk about her more actually, because she was an incredible inspiration for me on my journey. This woman ate a lot of meat. My grandfather was a butcher, and so she ate a lot of meat. So from the age of about 40 to 85, she ate extreme amounts of meat, and she also, very importantly, refused to take medication. So she wouldn't even take paracetamol for a headache. And even though I do take paracetamol occasionally, her, absolute determination to never ever take medication and to eat loads and loads of meat and basically ignore nutritional guidelines meant that she lived to a really nice old age. Okay, she only got to 93, and I think she probably could have lived much longer than that. But towards the end, she started to get a bit brainwashed and started to have less real butter, and there was some margarine in her fridge, and I think she started to go on to a bit of wholemeal bread towards the end, made of whole grains, and in the end her stomach gave out. But in the main, from a very young age right up until about 85, 90, she was in amazing health. Perfect in the head, perfect. She didn't have any joint pain. She never caught a cold. She was amazing. And she is actually the most healthiest female of that age I have ever met. To this day, I still haven't met another woman of that age, of 93. Let's go up to 92, because between 92 and 93, her health started to fail her a little bit. But, up to 92, the healthiest woman of that age I'd ever met. And I like to talk about her. I haven't spoken about her in my videos recently, and I think I need to talk about her a bit more, because I think, for me personally, when it comes to choosing what to eat, I think we should be looking at our ancient ancestors. What were they doing? How were they living? I think people take a little bit too much notice of science these days. And when you think that science is mostly sponsored by the people that want us to buy their products, you have to wonder if there's any financial vested interests in this science that people follow. And so this video really is basically me talking about what did our ancestors do? People haven't always followed nutritional science. People up until the last 50 years looked at their parents, their grandparents, their great-grandparents. What were they doing? I think that's so important. And when I look at my two grandparents, my two grandmothers, we've got this wonderful woman here who lived a vibrant, happy, super healthy life. And I compare her to my other grandmother. The differences were massive. My other grandmother was mostly interested in plant food, and she always had a self-help guide in the kitchen. And she ended up in her mid-80s. Actually, no, even I can't remember when her dementia started kicking in, but she died a very painful life in living in a nursing home for years with dementia. And she did fall for the whole low-fat thing, and she was on medication for this and medication for that. And just like my own mother, she panicked when she ran out of medication, and she had pill pockets for this and a Monday to Friday pill thing. And she loved her plant food. She wasn't primarily plant-based, but she certainly didn't eat the meat that my other grandmother did. And so I think, really, check out your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents. What kind of health did they have? And what can you learn from what they did? That's my thing. So this woman here, born in 1905, went through 2 wars. But like I said, I think the reason she did so well is because like I said, my grandfather was a butcher. He had a very successful butcher business just outside London, and there was always leftovers in the shop. And so he had two massive chest freezers absolutely full of meat. And he lived pretty much the same diet that she did, but sadly he was a smoker and he had a lot of chest problems. So I know I sometimes say, I wonder if it's not all about the smoking, but for him, I think it was all about the smoking, because he lived exactly the same diet that she did, but his chest let him down. So, yeah. And I remember, and I used to stay at her house every single weekend, and I always had a cold, but she never ever once had anything wrong with her, ever. I never once heard her talk about having a headache. I never once heard her having a cold. She did actually break a bone in her mid-80s, but it healed really fast because she had strong bones. She literally just tripped over a box in a shop and actually got a break, but it actually healed really quickly, much quicker than it has done for my mother-in-law, who obviously doesn't eat a lot of meat, doesn't eat a lot of red meat, and eats a lot of grains, and obviously her bones are much more brittle as a result. Yeah, so this video is basically about ancestral eating. What did our ancestors do? I think people are taking too much notice of nutritional guidelines but the nutritional guidelines don't really make sense, because if they were working, then surely there wouldn't be so much sickness around. You've only got to look at how sick people are. And it's those very people that believe in, I don't know about you, but the people that I've seen are the sickest, are the ones that are most interested in everything in moderation. Have a little bit of everything. I call it have a little bit of everything and keep your fingers crossed and hope for the best diet. And how sick are those people? I guarantee them, all of them moaning about something, whether it's joint pain, gut problems, and people are just not connecting the dots. They're not connecting the dots. So anyway, I've spoken about my grandmother. If anyone else comes on in the next few minutes, I will talk about her again. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, let me think. I had loads of things in my head this morning. I've been following some lovely new channels. Bill Knott has got his recent video up. I am loving the carnivore community at the moment. It's so vibrant. When I very first found this way of eating, there wasn't the sheer number of YouTube channels that there are now. It is vast. It is amazing. And as a result of channels like Homestead How with Kerry, a lot more people are making videos now. And I'm connecting up with some amazing people. And it's nice because I don't have anyone doing carnivore with me in the real world. I really do need this community. I need these people to chat to. I know that Dave from No Carb Life did interview me. It was lovely, but sadly the reception wasn't very good. But I can't wait. So if anyone else wants to interview me, let's do it. I'd love to interview somebody as well. How do you do that? Is it StreamYards or something like that? Yeah. So I'm going to give this a maximum of half an hour and see if anyone comes. I've been busy today and I haven't drunk enough water, so I'm going to do that. Oh, that's better. This morning I had a really big breakfast. I need to get in the habit of eating more at each meal. This is something I need to talk about. I always seem to get carnivore wrong. And what I mean by that is there shouldn't really be a right or wrong, should there? But the people that are most successful are the ones that follow the correct procedure, which is eat as much meat as you can till you're absolutely stuffed, and then don't eat until you're hungry again. And because I have a job where I don't get to eat when I want, I have to eat when I get a chance. And you know, it was a lot easier for me to do carnivore back in the early days when I didn't have a job. But now it's not like I can, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm thinking, oh, time for a feast. No, that's all, the kids are going back into the classroom and it's now lesson time. So I can't just, so over the last few weeks, I've been trying to eat a lot more at each meal. This morning, about 9:30, I had 2 large pork shoulder steaks chopped up and then had a ribeye. And I'm still full, and it's now 3:45 in the afternoon, and I haven't thought about food yet. So That's a success. That's me doing it properly. Tonight's meal will be some minced beef and some salmon. And there'll be so much food on the plate that I won't think about food until tomorrow. I am going back to work tomorrow, which is a bit disappointing. She doesn't have to work anymore. Look at her lovely thing. Lovely lady. Amazing. Somebody did pop in, but they've disappeared now. I really must make a big announcement that I'm going to do this. Here is my cat. She's come to see me. Hey. Yeah. She's helping. Yeah, she's called Tink. She was, we rescued her from a barn. She was living wild, but she's actually a sweetheart. And now she lives with us. Hey. What do you think? Very cute. Very cute. Oh, somebody's actually appeared, and I've just realised I'm showing you my cat, which is quite funny. Oh. And that person's disappeared, which is even more funny, because I think ridiculous things are quite funny. Sorry. Things make me laugh that don't make other people laugh. Gonna keep drinking. So we've spoken about the fact that I'm now trying to eat more at each meal and prioritise getting more in. It's something that I've failed at for years now. Trying to eat at the same time. You know, sometimes your family want you to eat at the same time as them, and sometimes you're not that hungry at that time. Yeah, that's a bit of a tricky one to try and negotiate, trying to make sure that you're fed lots of food when you need it, but still fitting in with what the family want you to do. Tricky. I'm going to try and keep my glasses down so that I've not got the reflection of the screen in there. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go and I've got some chicken in the oven for my family. Yeah, I've been trying to find some new channels to watch. Hoping that they find me interesting. I was discussing with my friend Karen about how I'm concerned about what I'm going to drink as a warm drink in the winter, because with my potential iron deficiency, I'm kind of hoping that the blood results come back and say my iron is fine, and then perhaps I can still drink tea during the coldest winter months, and then maybe not drink it in the summer to make up for it. It's an option, isn't it? It is still a plant food. But sometimes the winters in the UK can get very damp and very dreary, and sometimes a cup of tea is what I need. And so quite happy to give up the coffee. That wasn't difficult at all. But the tea, I've been drinking that since I was probably 2 years old, and it's a bit of a ritual in the UK. We do like it. It took me years to stop having tea with biscuits. God, that took a long time. That was my granddad's fault. Her husband, have a cup of tea with a biscuit. God, that took a long time to get out of that. Yeah. I think it's undeniable, really, that humans have always eaten meat. There are groups of people that try and make out. That's it, actually. Fabulous. A fabulous woman that's a moderator of Ken Berry's group. Now, what's her name? Tanya, and then 0, Tanya O. Fantastic channel. She's only got a few videos up, but her story makes for very interesting listening. Basically, she went onto a whole food plant-based diet and got sick, and then went raw, and then got sicker, and then went carnivore and felt better. I can't believe they're still spinning this stuff. I wonder why. Maybe they don't want us to be healthy. I do recommend the interview she did with semi-retired Bob. Go onto semi-retired Bob's channel and look at the one where it's plants to carnivore or something like that. It's a very, very good video, and she makes a very compelling argument for not going whole food plant-based. But she actually felt better immediately on carnivore. Sometimes when you've had that many plants and you go back to carnivore, there's a bit of a period of oxalate dumping and just feeling a little bit crap. But she actually felt better instantly and had absolutely no problems and lost over £100. Amazing. I don't know why people still fall for this whole... It's these documentaries, isn't it? It's these toxic documentaries like What the Health and Knives Over Forks, whatever it's called. Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And people fall for it for a while until they realise things have gone wrong for them. And then they find carnivore, like us. This little one here. See? This little one here. She's raw food based. She's fed a raw food diet every night. Raw beef with raw offal and bits. Yeah, nice. She's a really good girl. Found her in a barn. Yeah, it's not quite time though. Give you tea in a minute. I was just talking about this fantastic woman I found on semi-retired Bob's channel. But initially this video is about, for anyone that's watching, my grandmother, who is my inspiration. Massive meat eater and didn't like medication. She is my inspiration for eating the way I do. She's the healthiest older person I've ever met. And I think if you're going to live a good, vibrant life, follow the ancestors. Pick your favourite grandparent or great-grandparent and do what they did. And then you've got a good chance, haven't you, of being super healthy. Things are now falling off the... This is your fault. Stop knocking things off the table. Hi, there's someone click like. Anyway, for the people that have just joined, my grandmother is my inspiration. I'm talking about ancestral eating, how people take too much notice of headlines on the front of newspapers, guidelines, science, and people are getting I was going to say thicker. Probably they are getting thicker. If you don't eat enough meat, you are going to get a bit thick in the head and brain fogged and not very well. Eat more meat and you'll feel clear. Then you can make good decisions like this woman. Good decisions. I basically live in this woman's shadow. She's my grandmother. She's called Josie. And I live in her shadow, basically. And so far, it's paying off. I may not be the skinniest person in the world, but I feel alive, vibrant. And my next decade is my 50th decade. And yeah. Oh, because we've got a comment. Lovely. Let's have a look at the comment. I can't quite see it. Is that Susan? Is your name Susan? Yeah. It's amazing how much has been lost since 1900s regarding nutritional sufficiency. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was around that sort of time when they found the keto diet, wasn't it, for epilepsy and things like that. And that's just been swept under the carpet. And the iodine stuff, that's just been swept under the carpet as well. I was watching an episode of Downton Abbey a couple of nights ago when they were discussing iodine for thyroid. But somehow, over the next few decades after that, it got demonised, like the good stuff does. Demonise the good stuff. Demonise the red meat, the animal products. Demonise the eggs. Yeah. Demonise the natural remedies and the deficiencies that start coming out. Yeah. It is a shame. And people just believe the first thing they see, don't they, basically? They read an article on the front of the Daily Mail and that's it. That's the truth, that is. My husband did low carb for a while and he went round to his mum's house and she'd deliberately opened up the Daily Mail and found an article saying low carb diets are dangerous. Look, low carb diets are dangerous. Don't do that. Oh, hi, Carnivore Transformer. I've forgotten your real name, though. I feel like I should know your real name. I've been following a lot of new channels recently. You tell me what your real name is, because I can't remember now. And as soon as you say it, I'm going to go, oh, that's right. I was just discussing my grandmother, I live in this woman's shadow. This woman is my grandmother, and she was a massive meat eater and absolutely didn't trust the pharmaceutical industry, which is where I get my thing from, because she was the healthiest woman I've ever met in my life of that age group. I see you've called yourself Gray. Is that right? Is that a shortened version of your full name? I like to know people's first names if I can. But anyway, hi. I don't know how long I'm going to be on here for. Graham. Hi, Graham. Yeah. I sometimes do a live in the afternoon if the weather's a bit bad and I'm a bit bored, because it's really nice to when people chat, and it stirs the conversation. So if you want to me just discuss any area of this lifestyle, just talk about anything that's interesting you at the moment, then we can have a conversation about it. That's how I roll. I'm practicing my interviewing skills as well, because a couple of weeks ago, Dave from No Carb Life interviewed me, but sadly there was a really bad reception, and it didn't end up going out. But so I want to do as many of these sort of things as possible, so I can build my confidence in keeping the conversation going and trying to keep it interesting. But yeah, this video is entitled something along the lines of "My grandmother was my inspiration. She was my, this woman, she was, which bit's awesome? My nan, yeah, she was awesome." Or the other thing about being interviewed, yeah. But so this is just me sort of chatting to carnivores, and in preparation for hopefully one day actually doing an interview or being interviewed. That'd be so cool. I started out this live by discussing how people are so interested in the science, but not in actually looking at what were our relatives doing, what were they eating. My grandfather was, as you two have just joined, my grandfather was a very successful butcher just outside London. And he used to bring home a lot of leftovers, and so they had 2 chest freezers. How many days am I on? Days of what? Sorry. Is it like how many days am I doing lives? I am going back to work tomorrow, so my afternoon lives will have to stop for a bit, if that's what you mean. Oh, how many? Oh, there's someone that doesn't know my story. This is going to bore the other person. I've been on and off carnivore for nearly 9 years. I'm very distractible, and I haven't done it properly. But now my goal is to now do it properly. So yeah, I've known about it since 2014. I've messed about, but loads of health benefits. But I'm really happy, and I feel good. That is the main thing. I don't have anything wrong with me. So that's the most important thing. Still working on getting some pounds off, but they'll come in time when I sort my life out, which I'm hopefully now doing. I'm doing much better. If you watch any of my videos, you'll see that have messed about. It's something that I was embarrassed about, but the reason I've started this channel is because I am completely sick of the war on meat. So I thought, even though I'm not on my target weight and in a perfect place, I'm still angry that they're trying to take our meat away from us. So I think the more of us that have channels talking about this, the better. That's why I'm here. Yeah, I want this channel, but this channel has helped me be more strict. I've just got back from a family holiday at the beach, and I was perfect carnivore the whole time. So I am doing way better. It's much harder to distract me now. And I've been very, very strict this year. So that's that, basically. But yeah, back to the ancestral eating. My grandfather was a butcher, and he had a lot of meat. They had a lot of meat in their chest freezers, and so my nan ate a lot of meat, and that's why she was so healthy, I believe. And she refused medication. Yeah, the war on meat from Dr. Anthony Chaffee. Yeah, the war on meat's been coming for a while. I've known about it for ages. I was waiting till I'd lost all of the pounds I need to lose before starting a channel. But I thought, no, it is okay to still be on a journey to set up a channel. There are lots, now that I've spent a bit more time on YouTube recently, I'm finding a lot of channels where you've got carnivores that are still on their journey, and it's okay. You don't all have to be at the absolute perfect target weight to have a YouTube channel. You can just still be on the journey, and it's fine. I don't want to be quiet about the war on meat. I don't like it. I don't like that they've been lying to us about meat for decades, that they keep coming up with these strange animal illnesses so that they can cull animals. And now their agenda for 2030 is for us to not have meat at all. And I think we should all be shouting just that little bit louder. And that's why I've started my channel. And if I can just inspire just one person with my health benefits, which are a reversal of prediabetes, reversal of gastritis, psoriasis, mood problems, depression, insomnia, blood sugar problems. Yeah, I've reversed all that myself. And so at this precise moment, I feel fantastic, despite the few extra pounds that I'm carrying. That is embarrassing, but yeah. Susan, oh hi Susan. When I was eating healthy food at work, people would ask every day, what is Susan eating today? Developed thyroid problems, hypertension, anxiety, sluggishness, and I had my right knee replaced. Yeah, I know. I stopped eating what you might call the healthy foods quite a long time ago. I know my carnivore journey has been a bit off and on, but I gave up eating vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, pulses, healthy whole grains about nearly 9 years ago now. So I'm either fully carnivorous or I'm meat with treats. That's my two different settings. I'm either fully 100% carnivore or I'm meat with a few treats thrown in, which is why I never really badly fluctuate in my weight. I kind of stay about the same year in, year out. But the reason, are you from Alabama? Hi. It's so cool talking to people like this across the world. It's amazing. I'm more upset with the doctors who don't know about a proper human diet. Yeah. And even if they do hear about it, they don't want to know, do they? You know, I was having my blood taken a couple of days ago because I feel there might be a problem with my thyroid, and I feel like I may have an iron deficiency. And you talk to people about the diet and they just gloss over, don't they? Just glaze over. She asked me if my diet was good, and I said, well, if you knew what I was eating, you'd probably tell me my diet is awful, but actually I think my diet is amazing, actually. And she said, well, I'll put down that it's good then. I said, yes, please, write down that it's good. I'm just glad she didn't go through the whole detail of what do you actually eat. I couldn't be bothered with it. I just can't be bothered. The reason I've set up a YouTube channel as well is because I want to talk to other people like this, because in nearly 9 years I've not converted anyone to eat this way, and the main reason is because I haven't lost all my weight. And people that watch the channel have even said to me, you're right, no one's going to take any notice of you while you're still carrying the weight. Somebody even called me a liar because they said, if you're eating just meat, the weight should be falling off you. Well, it doesn't now. I'm at an age now where my hormones are a bit more messed up, hence why I went to the doctor to get blood tests to see if my thyroid is okay, to see if my iron is okay, and just to cover all bases. But the fact that I'm being more strict will pay off. It will pay off. You know, the treats have gone now. But I still feel great. Whether I eat the treats or not, I still feel super, super healthy. And that is the main thing. I think it should be health first every time. And if we've got perfect health, then we've got it all, haven't we? Basically. After carnivore since February, no hypertension, no medications, no inflammation, no pain. Yeah, previously could not get up and down without pain. No, exactly. But they still don't listen, do they? They're still not interested in us. It's all very nice, it works for you, but it wouldn't work for me. We're all so different, aren't we? Yeah, we're not that different. Some of us are coming from different points of, no brain fog. Exactly. When I eat just meat and water, I feel absolutely amazing. Like a superhuman. People ask me how I feel on this way of eating. I always say, amazing. Like a superhuman. But they just sort of gloss over and go, yeah, well, it wouldn't work for me. And then they carry on eating their processed crap. I'm like, well, carry on then. The reason I'm getting super strict, my why, I think everyone has to have a why, don't they? I've seen a few videos today where they're talking about having a really important why. And I've said this before, but as you two don't know me as well, my why is to help others. I don't like walking around seeing people in pain. Basically, I don't like seeing people in the supermarket in agony, and at work and anywhere else for that matter. And I want them to feel as good as I do. But sadly, until I get to my target weight, people are not going to take me seriously, basically. And that is sad to me, because all of my health problems are invisible problems. So they couldn't see my gut being in pain. They couldn't see my psoriasis because it's always covered up by my clothes. They couldn't see my anxiety and depression. They couldn't see anything else that's wrong with me. So I want to get my body to a place where I can visibly look healthier. And then people might take me more seriously, and then I might be able to get just one person to eat this way and feel better. And that is my why. Yeah. My pharmacist still can't believe my transformation after 163 days. Yeah. They don't believe you, do they? No, they don't believe you. They don't want to believe you. Because they're so conditioned and brainwashed into thinking a certain way that if they did start to believe you, that means that their whole training and their whole livelihood is going to be challenged. People don't like to have a whole life's worth of beliefs and training and whatever to be challenged, because then that means that their whole life is then, in question, and they've perhaps got to take another direction. So being in denial is easier. That's what I found anyway. Yeah, the nurse wasn't too bothered, but I didn't actually. I said I was low carb. I really couldn't be bothered to get into the whole carnivore conversation. I wasn't interested. Yep, you had to be patient to weight healing before lost any weight. Yeah, exactly. This is a problem for me, because I've always got this feeling that it's not going to happen, and then I get to about 4 or 5 months and think, oh, but when's it going to be? And then I'm impatient, and then I'm working with people that eat rubbish. I live with people that eat rubbish, and I get distracted, and then it becomes meats and treats until I get bored of the fact that my sleep's just got worse, and my blood sugar's just got worse, and my digestion's got worse. I think, right, back to meat, back where I'm safe, and that's it. So it's back to meat again. But I know where I feel the best. I just wish that there were more people in my circle, in my family and friends and work colleagues doing it. It'd be so much easier. I just want one person at work to go, I'm doing that meat thing with you. But we're still waiting. Yeah, we haven't actually had fruits and vegetables in the house for ages. In this house, we're pretty much all either just eating meat or meats and treats, and my boys are very healthy. They've both got very toned bodies, very muscular in their torso. Yeah, they're doing very well. They're tall, they're clever, they've got, they're loads of energy. My youngest actually eats mostly bacon for pretty much all his meals are just bacon, and he's got an actual visible six-pack without any exercise. Sorry, I think there's something. There you go, it's gone now. Yeah. And I went off the idea of wholemeal bread for a long time ago. So when I am not doing it properly, which hasn't been for ages, it'll be white bread or some treats or some sweets. I will never go back to those healthy foods they talk about. Never. My body reacts very badly to the healthy stuff, so I could never be vegan. I've done a video, why can't I be vegan? No, goodness me. My body reacts so badly to anything that's pulses, beans, lentils, vegetables. God, no. My body sends out a very clear message that meat is what it wants, and it sends that message out very strong. And at the moment, I am absolutely strict. I'm still feeling pretty cool about last week's holiday with my family, because we sat on the beach in the heat watching other people eating a whole number of things that I won't list here. And I stuck to strict carnivore all week, which meant when I got back, I didn't have to then claw my way back on the wagon. I was there, I was already on it, and yeah, happy to take on the autumn, winter now, and hopefully see the results I want, so that people take me seriously. But I wasn't going to wait any longer before I started the channel. You know, did you see that thing that Anthony Chaffee did about that farm and that woman on the farm? You know, the Maggie. Is that the video you saw? He was talking about the oil underneath the farm. That was a bit. That's awful. That she only owns the grass on top, but the land underneath is owned by somebody else entirely. And then, awful. My husband initially would call the YouTubers idiots and shake his head and constantly offering me food. Then about a month ago, he brought a huge tomahawk steak. Patience and respect won the day. Oh, amazing. So Graham, you said yes to that video with Maggie. Yeah. She's amazing. She's amazing. She reminds me of this lady. Yeah, she was what you might call hyper carnivore. She probably ate 70% meat. And her health was immaculate. Yeah. Yeah, when I very first started carnivore, my husband was not interested in it at all. And we had a takeaway once, like a takeout from a Chinese, and I ordered ribs, thinking that they were going to be plain ribs. And when they turned up, they had a coating on them like batter, and I completely refused to eat them. And we had a bit of an argument going on. This was back at the end of 2014. And he was like, well, what are you going to eat then? You're going to eat it. But now, if it happened, he'd be just as gutted as me. He'd be like, God, why are they putting that horrible crap on your food? So yeah, in our house, we are all about the meat. And my family are immensely supportive of me now. Immensely supportive. And they don't like it if they know that I've come off the train a little bit and eaten a few sweets, because they know that I'm just going to be miserable. They know that I'm in my best condition when I'm eating just meat. I'm lively, I've got full energy, my brain is clear. They just know that I am happier, not bloated. Yeah, it's just a world of difference. Not looking forward to going back to work tomorrow and having to be dictated to when I'm going to eat and stuff. I've got an hour's lunch tomorrow though, because it's only the kids aren't into school, so I work in a school. So might even come home for lunch tomorrow actually, as I've got an hour instead of half an hour. I'm going to come home and get myself some meat and go back. I'm looking forward to that. Normally I get a half an hour break, and sometimes I go and quickly cook myself a steak in one of the kitchens, and but that's a bit rush. Then I've got to do all the cleaning up, and then it becomes not much of a lunch break because I'm so stressed at the end of lunch. I probably would be better off just fasting. Similar thing here on Greece, often with olive groves, someone owns the land, but someone else owns the trees. Yeah. I think a lot of this happened, according to Anthony Chaffee, a lot of it happened in the 70s. Oh, see you later, Graham. Nice chatting to you too. Keep going with the videos. Yeah, I was a bit... yeah, I mean, I know that people like William Gates are trying to buy up a load of land, which is alarming, and I can't believe he has so many followers that think he's great. I have no idea what anyone thinks he's great. And he wants all of us to give up meat, but he's not got any intention of doing it, has he? But then that's getting a bit more controversial now. I'm supposed to be talking about my nan. Oh, hi, Linda. Yep. Yeah, I was, yeah, if you weren't here from the beginning, I was just talking about my amazing grandmother, who was my inspiration. Actually, it's just you following now, isn't it? So no one else is going to be bored. I was talking about this lovely lady who was a massive meat eater and didn't like the pharmaceutical industry, so basically just like me. And she lived an incredibly healthy life. And I was just talking about ancestral eating, really, and how it's important to look at what the people are doing rather than the studies. You know, if you see people that are struggling with their health, you have to start questioning what are they eating. People are not joining the dots, though, are they, with that? Some people seem to think that health begins in the gut, but they don't really take it far enough. They don't realise that their joints are hurting because of their food. And some people haven't even worked out that their guts are hurting because of their food. Now, that one really gets me. You've got all these whole food plant-based eaters that are in agony, and then they just keep eating the same food. Strange. You can't help some people, can you? I'm not sure what the time is, but I've already been on here 40 minutes. So here's my cat. Yeah, she's wild. She's raw fed as well. She eats a carnivore diet. Every night she's chopped up beef with chopped up bits of liver and kidney and stuff in it. She's well happy. And she's got a lot of energy when she has the offal. So I'm thinking that maybe I should have some offal. But I think I've already got too much energy. I'm going to be annoyingly cheerful when I go back to work tomorrow because I've had 6 weeks of getting as much sun as possible and eating all the right stuff. I'm just going to be rebouncing. Yeah. Susan, your input is inspirational for me. Grateful to have found your channel. Oh, I hope it continues to be inspirational. I hope this channel was a success. Dr. Bright helped me in the fat realm for hormone healing. Yeah. I've said this in another video. I would rather eat the fat and feel good than worry about my weight. You know, I know that my hormones need fixing, and I know that I want to feel good. And there's no way I'm going to start cutting the fat off my meat and risk feeling rubbish just to perhaps lose a few pounds when I know that my body needs the fat. I think a lot of people are malnourished. Even overweight people are malnourished, you know. Because quite often when you're eating a load of junk, you're not eating enough of the beautiful food that we should be eating. And I know that when I'm completely off the healthy train, like when my mum passed away last year, I was not eating anywhere near enough fatty meat. So I was malnourished at that point, even though I didn't look it. I was malnourished. Yeah. I haven't seen that many Dr. Bright videos. But she talks about fat for the female hormones. And I hear people saying, stop eating fat to lose fat. I don't agree, personally. I think my body needs healing. I had my blood test 2 days ago to check for my thyroid and all the things I'm worried about. But I know that even if my thyroid is broken, I know that just carrying on eating this way consistently, month after month after month, I am now taking Lugol's iodine in very tiny doses at the moment. I don't want to do a big detox, but I am taking it in tiny doses. If my results come back that my thyroid is highly a hypo, then I might start upping the dose a little bit. But I'll get some more advice from the Dr. Ken Berry page from that, because I trust him way more than my GP, and I think everyone does. You rendered down the beef fat trimmings into 1.5 quarts tallow, mixed with the remainder into cat and dog foods. Yeah, my cat's very fussy and she won't eat steak, actually. She only eats beef that's very, very pink and fresh. She won't eat any. So I don't have any worries about her stealing my ribeyes, which is good. She's fallen asleep now. She's bored of this. Yeah, you can have dinner in a minute, okay? Yeah, I've got to keep drinking because I've been a bit busy today. But yeah, I'd rather stay this same weight though for the rest of my life and feel fantastic. Because my grandmother that we're talking about, she wasn't overly thin. She actually was, at my age, reasonably chubby, I suppose. But she was so healthy. I know that it's not wise to be very big, but I think if the doctors can't find anything wrong with you and you feel amazing, I don't think the number on the scale is as important. But I am still doing whatever it can to get the weight off. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna give up. I'm going harder than I've ever done before. So this morning I had some pork shoulder with some beef ribeye. It was about 9:30. I had it. I had a load of it. It's now maybe 4:15 p.m. in the UK, and I'm still not hungry, so I'm doing the right things. Tonight I'm gonna have beef with salmon. My regime now is beef, bacon, salmon and eggs, and I'm going to stick with that. Still off the dairy, still off the sweeteners, still off the caffeine, still off the that's it really. Very, very clean and consistent. I think my keywords moving into autumn are clean and consistent, and I will get what I want. Yeah, my son wants to talk now. Do you want to come join the video, Ollie? No. My cameraman doesn't want to do. He's going to play football. Yeah. But anyway, I think I've spoken about everything that I wanted to talk about. If you wanted to talk about anything else before I go, could spare another 5 or 10 minutes if you had any other questions or wanted to talk about any other topics. But yeah, my main reason for this video was to talk about ancestral eating and looking at what our grandparents and great-grandparents were eating and how they were living, and looking at the choices they made and see what their health was like. My other grandmother was very sick in her last 10 years of her life. She fell for the whole plant nonsense. She always had some self-help books, and in those days pretty much all self-help books were plant-based. Pretty much all of them are now still, really, aren't they? And she didn't live a very vibrant life like my other grandma, who refused to take medication and just ate loads of meat. So I'm following in her footsteps, and if I live even half the quality of the life that she led, I'm going to do well, basically. Dr. Berry was most helpful to understand blood pressures. Yeah, he's so helpful to everyone. I am so glad he's got a channel, because pretty much everyone you speak to says, found Dr. Berry. I trust him completely. I loved it when he came out with that video, why I no longer trust vegetables, or I was wrong about vegetables, or something like that. That was when he really went up a level for me. We'll follow you in the future. Well, I hope I keep being an inspiration. I am a lot more strict in the last 12 months than I've ever been. So, waiting for these blood results to come through next Thursday. And what happens with those will probably impact me a bit. But it may just come down to the fact that I've just got to keep going with my consistency, basically. It's got to be carnivore all the time. Otherwise, I'm just going to have another 12 months. And in 12 months' time, I'm going to be here saying, no, still haven't lost the weight. I'm healthy, though. Look how healthy I am. But still haven't really lost the weight. No. And I don't want the channel to go like that. It'd be boring for people. I want people to be... I want to be that channel that helps the people that are struggling, basically. Because there are a lot of people struggling. Not everyone that finds carnivore loses a stack of weight and wins. There are lots of people that don't stick to it, or they do stick to it and they don't lose weight. Yeah, Dante, it's good down to earth with... yeah, he's done so well on Lion. Oh my goodness, he's the one to watch with his Lion diet. My goodness me. Honestly, I have attempted to do some Lion. Oh, I'm not worried about whether I convince a doctor at all. Luckily, in the UK, we don't really have much to do with our doctors unless we're sick. So it's not like in America where people have to have constant blood tests and checks. In the UK, people only really go to the doctor if they actually feel something wrong with them. And generally, I don't feel like I've got anything wrong with me, partly because of my choices in life. So I don't actually have a doctor that I need to convince. Don't really care what they think. I only went there to get this blood test because I didn't want to go to a private one and pay. I think as a family we've paid enough taxes to warrant a blood test, because we are not a burden on the NHS at all in this house. We don't cost them any money whatsoever. So I thought, I'm just going to have one blood test. I can justify that. Who drives from... Oh, Dante drives from Florida to Georgia for beef. Yeah, I haven't watched as many of his channels recently because he hasn't done as many of his rucking channels as he was. But yeah, his 2-year video I love a lot. I've watched that a few times actually. When I'm busy in the kitchen and I want something to listen to in the background, that 2-year video of his was so good. Yeah. I don't even know if you can get really good beef very close to me. I'm probably going to have to drive a bit further. I have got some very good butchers nearby. I don't spend enough time in there because they are double or triple the money that it is from the supermarket, and some weeks I can barely afford the stuff I buy in the supermarket. So the thought of spending more on my beef, because people like Dante, yeah. Background. How do you mean by that? You mean what do you mean specifically by a background? I can't remember what you mean. My cat's here. It's not time. Nearly time. She's on OMAD. The cat's on OMAD. Yeah. One thing about Dante is that he was spending a lot of money on supplements, wasn't he? So the money was spending on, the hundreds of thousands of dollars on supplements, he can now afford to spend on beef, whereas I wasn't really spending that money. So blood tests are popular here and cheap. I've had 2 in the last 13 months and been on the Carnivore. Everything's perfect. Amazing. Background sound videos. Yeah, the most important thing is affordability and sticking to it, isn't it? Are you saying that I've got some sound background noises going on? Is that what you're saying? This cat is getting on my nerves now. This is her tail. Look, she's a lovely thing. Look, in a minute. I've got some people I'm chatting to at the moment. Yeah, I've actually not had a blood test in a very, very long time because I didn't think I needed to. And then since I've been doing this channel, people have suggested me reasons why the weight's not coming down now. And one of the things that's been suggested is my thyroid, to get that checked. And the other thing was that I have potential iron deficiency because of all the black tea that I've drunk over the last few years, which I've now given up. But I'm now going to have to build that iron deficiency back up again. I do apologise. I think if I do an interview with somebody, I'm going to have to shut the cat out in the garden. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Background noises. Yeah, I can't be in silence in the kitchen. It's too boring. I have to have Dante on in the background or Kerry from Homestead How listening to the videos. Yeah. And it's motivational, especially if I'm cooking carbs for the family. I need to have a video on telling me how important carnivore is just to make sure I remember. Yeah, like I just said, I'm not really into going to the doctors. I don't like to be a burden on the NHS for a start, and I don't trust them. But then I realised that I should probably just get some blood work done. And I don't want to pay for private blood tests when my husband's paid goodness knows how much tax, and so have I, into the system for the last 30 years. I thought, let's go and get a free blood test done. But I'm going to decide what I do with those results. I will not go on medication. She wouldn't allow it. Josie would not allow it, my grandmother. So I will decide what I do with that information. Either I will supplement in either something for the thyroid or for the iron, or I will just make sure I stay off the black tea and stick with consistency and hope that these hormonal deficiency problems iron themselves out and then the weight falls off. That's what the goal is. Yeah. I do get very frustrated with myself that I didn't stick to it the first time round, but no point regretting anything. All I can do is move forward and make better choices moving forward, really. In my last live, I was talking about how my mum passed away last year and was a distraction to me, and I wasn't looking after myself. And I think my hormones really crashed last year. The last couple of years, my body is now completely incapable of losing weight no matter what I do. And so I have no choice now but just to stick to it or quit. And I'm not going to quit because I want to help people. And I can't help people if I've quit, can I? So I won't be quitting anytime soon. This cat's getting hungry. We've now got 4 people. For anyone that's just joined, the cat keeps knocking my camera over. So it's fun and games here. Oh dear. I think I might have to go. Anyway, if you've just joined and you wanted to say hi, then please say hi. But I'm going to have to go in a minute and cook food for these carb addicts that live with me. They're a pain, aren't they? That was interesting on holiday last week. Oh, you're a registered nurse. Ah, retired. Oh, have a good day. Yeah, and you. Thank you for joining. It's lovely when people start joining and chatting to me. I really enjoy it. I probably should announce I'm going to do a live and then more people might turn up, but it's cool. I'm going to go and feed the cat and then I'm going to go and feed the carb addicts. You have an amazing day. Eat your meat, drink your water, and thrive just like Josephine. Thrive like her. Take care. Bye.